Hello everyone. Tonight I'm gonna do chicken asparagus. So I have 3 boneless chicken breasts in here that I slice twice. Well, I split it. It's really thin, enough that I can roll it. And then I have about a cup and a half of mushroom right here and asparagus. I won't be using all of that, but I'm just gonna put it probably on the side. Then I have 2 tablespoons of gluten-free flour, salt and pepper to flavor my sauce. Then garlic, about 2 tablespoons of garlic, fresh. 3 tablespoons of ginger. I like it. I'm gonna use this for my sauce later. Then a cup of milk, a cup of red onions, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1.5 cup of water. So all this, I'm gonna use this for my mushroom sauce later. And the chicken, before I roll it, I'm gonna season this with salt and pepper. And also you're gonna need, well, I'm gonna use this right here, the twine for the chicken. That way I can tie it and it won't, just go anywhere. So this is what I'm gonna use. I have about 8 here. I cut it on the length that I needed and then I washed it. So I'll be back. This is my acorn squash that would go that I'm gonna pair with my chicken asparagus. So I'm gonna bake this in 400 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. Depends on how long it'll take to cook this one. So I then slice it and took the seeds out. So now I'm gonna season this with olive oil, salt and pepper, and some oregano. Just pretty simple. I don't want it to be sweet either. So, because I wanna just enjoy the flavor of the squash to go along with the chicken. So I season my squash. I use my garlic salt and I use black pepper, Italian seasoning, and olive oil that I drizzle on the top. And I also put water in my pan. That way keep my squash moist. So I'm gonna put this in the oven and bake it for 30 to 40 minutes. So this is how I roll my chicken. I use this twine right here that I use for baking my chicken. So I'm gonna sear this chicken. That way it's brown on before I bake it. It's brown on its side. Then I'm gonna make my sauce. So you're gonna need about 3 tablespoons of olive oil to sear this chicken. So I'm using my iron skillet here. I love using this because it heat up pretty fast. And I added about 3 tablespoons of olive oil here, just enough to sear my chicken. So I'm gonna let the oil heat up, and then I'm gonna start putting my chicken. So my oil is hot enough for my chicken, so I'm gonna start adding this chicken. I'm not really gonna cook it, I just want it to be brown. Just put 3 at a time, and then I let it sit there for about a minute or 2, and then I'll flip it again. So now I'm gonna flip my chicken. There you go. And I'll let it cook for a minute or 2, and then transfer it on my plate until everything is finished, and then I'll put it in my Pyrex. So I'll be back. So I finished browning my chicken. It's not all the way cooked because I just want it brown a little bit in some part of it. And I put it inside my Pyrex. So now I'm gonna make my sauce to go over this, and then I'll bake it for about 20 minutes inside the oven. So I have my oven preheat 375. So I'm gonna cook this for 20 minutes. So my squash is finished baking, and it smells really good with all the season and salt, pepper, and everything that I added. And the water is gone, and it was just perfect. I added about 1/4 cup of water, and it was just perfect to help the squash cook. So I'm gonna just let this sit inside the oven. The oven is off already, so that way it'll stay warm while I'm finishing my chicken. So I finished browning my chicken, and there's a little bit of olive oil left in there, but I'm gonna add about 1.5 tablespoons of butter. Yeah. And now I'm gonna add my onions. Ooh, it smells good. Then my garlic. I'm gonna mix this well. Then my ginger. I'm gonna let this cook for about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes, everyone. And just make sure that you watch your garlic and don't burn it, because it don't taste good when the garlic is burnt. It's been 2 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my flour. I'm gonna mix this very well. Gonna add my soy sauce. My salt and pepper. Then my water. Oops. Then I'm gonna add my milk. Then I'm gonna add my mushrooms. I'm gonna let this boil. I'm gonna bring this to boil, and then let it boil for 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'll pour it over my chicken. So I'm gonna let this boil until I get the thickness. I'll probably end up adding some cornstarch, but we'll see. So I'm gonna bring this to boil and let it boil for 3 to 4 minutes. So my sauce is ready. So I'm gonna pour this over my chicken, and I'll bake my chicken for 20 minutes. I let this boil for 3 minutes, and it's just perfect. So I'm gonna pour my sauce over my chicken. Just be careful, everyone, because it's pretty hot. And then I'm gonna cover this with aluminum foil, and then put it in the oven. So my chicken asparagus is done, and my husband said it's really tender and it's delicious. So I'm gonna serve this with squash and quinoa.